All right, in the last video you seen that I'd finished up the Volkswagen, waiting for it to be picked up, and I'm going to try and knock this coupe car out real quick. It is in here. If you watched past videos, painted the wing last year. He is in for a new hood to be mounted on it, and if you can see the difference in the fender and the door, he's going to have me paint the hood, the front bumper, the whole front end, and blend it to the doors so it matches a little bit better than it does, because whatever has been done before, they panel painted it and it don't match. But he's got a new hood to go on here. He's already mounted the Zeus rails, so I have to stick the hood on, mark where the Zeus fasteners go, put them in, fit the gaps, make sure gaps look best as possible, uniform. I got a cutout for the turbo in the front. As you can see, it's got a LS in it. Don't ask me anything about the size or anything like that. I don't know. I just know that it looks good in there. A lot of detail and everything in this car. Everything looks really good. The front bumper has a few places I got to fix in it, a couple cracks, places on the side and stuff I gotta take care of, but not too much body work. But fitting the hood is the main thing, and painting the front end. And he also dropped off his golf cart to be color matched, so I have to sand it and paint it. But right now I'm going to take the headlights out, take the exhaust loose so I can get the front bumper off, fix it like it needs to be fixed. I'm still debating on whether or not to take the fenders off or leave them on. I'll make that decision a little bit later, but right now, before I take the headlights and stuff off, I'm going to start fitting this hood and get it squared away first before I take anything apart. All right, I'm back in the shop this morning, and yesterday evening I started trimming the hood for the coupe car to start fitting it, and I got it roughly to where it fits in between the fenders, and notched out the turbo real tight tolerances, because I want to be able to move the hood just a little bit either direction that I need to, while I am putting the Zeus fasteners in. Once I get all the Zeus fasteners fastened, then I'm going to lay out some tape lines to get the gaps to the fenders and everything, the size that I want, and then be able to take the hood off and grind the edges to the tape lines. That way my gaps are the way I want them. So I'll flip the camera around right now and show you what I've got. Okay, up here in the front, you can see it fits really tight. It's actually touching the turbo, but it's centered. Got more to trim around to get the gaps right on the around the turbo. I'm gonna try and keep the gap here pretty tight, something sort of like right there, the same on this side. I'll have to trim more around the headlights to clear them, but to the bumper, nose, and fender, the gaps are really tight, and actually towards the back it doesn't really even have a gap. It's right on the edge. I'll have to cut some more out of this to let the back of the hood sit down and sit on the cow part. But same way on this side, the gap is just a little bit larger on this side, and it's actually about I have the hood about sitting about where I want it, and this gap is about as large as I want right here. So I want to try and maintain this when I fasten put the Zeus's in, so I don't make the gap any larger than that, because that's about as large gap that I want trying matching the gap from the fender to the cow panel. Now what I've noticed is that the owner already installed the Zeus rails, and which he was here, we talked about it when he dropped it off, but the back edges are sticking up, so I'm going to have to move them down the way the hood sits down even with the fender. You can see right out through here it fit. It's basically where it needs to be. And then once you get out to the center of the hood, that's touching, so it needs to be moved down also. And then when you get out to the front, it's pretty good. It's just a touch high, but that ain't too much to worry about. It fits pretty good to the nose. You can see the nose is dropped down some, so that's pretty good. So the centers is going to need to be moved down, and the back corners are going to need to be moved down. You can see this one is not as bad, but it still needs to be moved down. The right there fits pretty good. When you get to the center, it's up just a little bit, not as bad as the other side. And then the front is nice, sits down a little bit lower. I'd like it to sit a little bit lower than the actual fender. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the hood off, move them Zeus rails where they need to be, put the hood back on, make sure that's all right before I start drilling holes or anything. Okay, so I got the hood fitting a whole lot better. Nice and flush, I guess you would say. But I wanted to just explain, these are Motion Raceworks Zeus rails. I had to drill out these Zeus wires on these two, and then I took this one out here and swung it around so I could drill out the holes and move this rail down. But I wanted to show you Motion Raceworks rails has these slots right here. Now you can see there's a hole there, but there wasn't a hole there before. If you go and mount these rails, before you drill the holes for the rivets, drill the holes in the center that has the slots, and you can put a screw in there, and what that does is allows you to move this rail up and down on each section to make that hood symmetrical. And then if you don't have your hood at the time that you're mounting the rails or whatever, you can just measure the height from the rail to the fender. But that's what I end up doing basically on both sides. This side, I had to take loose this one to get this corner down far enough. That one I was able to just tap it down. But you can see I took these loose here, and I even had to take this one loose, swing it around on here, because this needed to let it fall down far enough to be able to get the right height. But you can see I had the holes drilled and was able to move it where I needed it to be, and then tighten the screws down, and then drill the holes, which they were off just a little bit, so it kind of walked into the other hole, but it was still enough to get the hood fitting better. Now what I'll do is I'll rivet these Zeus wires back onto the rails. I would like to leave them off, and I may they're just aluminum rivets. I may drill them all back out after I actually put the fasteners in the hood. I may drill all the rivets back out and get some black ones and rivet them back with black instead of painting over these and painting over the wire. I think it'd be a lot cleaner look, because he wants the rails painted also. I don't know, I would maybe leave the rails black, but I think they'd look fine either way, painted the same color or black. but he wants them black. So what I'll do is I'll put these wires back in here, get the hood back on, measure for the distance to my holes, and get the holes drilled, get the Zeus fasteners in. Then I'll start working the gaps and everything. Once I get the hood just the way I want it, then I'll drill out all the fasteners and wires and paint them. Paint the hood without the. If you get what I'm understand, if you understand what I'm getting at, I'll paint the hood without the actual Zeus fasteners in it. They're black, and he don't want them painted. So instead of having to like tape them up or anything, I'll just drill the rivets back out, put new rivets back in. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so here's where we're at on the hood. I still don't know yet if I want to notch this out some more and let this hood come down, or keep it like it is because it's pretty much flush with the cow panel. I think I'll keep it like that, because you can still pick up on it, having put some rubber or something on the edge of the hood so it don't just scratch the hood up like scratch the cow panel up like the old hood did. But we're all trimmed up and fastened. I used these old fasteners because you're going to have this hood on and off all the time. If a customer has new fasteners, you don't want to put their new fasteners on here and scuff them up and scratch them up. So keep a set, quite a few of them used, and use them for mock-up. Use just regular rivets instead of, you know, the black rivets like what comes in a new pack for black fasteners. That way you can use them when after the hood is painted and you're going to put them on for the last time. But like I said, I'm going to drill all these out, get them all took off, and paint the hood with them off. I notched out for the turbo, put the two fasteners up front that hold the front of the hood on. Got this side also. Pretty happy with the gaps. I like this gap a lot better than the passenger side. I fastened this side first, and then I tried to pull the hood to where I wanted it over there, but when I started putting the fasteners in, for some reason it wants to pull it a little bit further away from the fender than what I had it. So it's got a little bit wider gap than what I wanted, but not too bad. I think I'm going to open up this gap just a little bit more to allow for paint buildup, primer and paint buildup. But like this side's pretty good. I think I'm going to open up the other side a little bit more. But other than that, I think I'm going to trim this out just a little bit more and grab a screwdriver. This one is pretty good. I like it. But if you see the corner of these hoods, they want to fold in. So I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here because I don't really care about this because I'm painting it. But don't do this if you got nice paint. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up on this edge, and you see it brings that hood out. And I like, that is what I clearanced the hood for, not like that. Because what I'm going to suggest to him is to put glue a little rubber stopper on the back side, and that'll keep this hood out here like it should be, and it makes the gap and everything look a lot better. You see how that does? It's just the nature of the fiberglass it's so thin it wants to bring it in like that. There's nothing to hold it out there like that. So I want to see if he wants to glue a little rubber stopper to the back side to hold the corners out. It's like that on both corners. You see this one All it takes is just a little bit. I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. And that'll make it look a whole lot better. But he may be satisfied with that there. Other than that, the hood is ready to be, all the fasteners be took back off, and everything disassembled to start sanding and doing body work.